That's not exactly great. If I didn't create my own problems, I wouldn't have any. And it's in a random building behind this gas station, which doesn't seem sketchy at all. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. Today we're picking up where we left off and continuing with our mess in the shop and getting the rest of the insulation sorted out. But along with that, we attempt to not get the LR4 stuck again. In turn, we kind of broke it. But in good news, we bought another cool shop tool. But before all that happens, let's get back to the insulation installation. It's very cold and snowy right now.
One down, 700 to go. Where's the tape measure?
What do you do with it?
Seriously?
Probably there. It's like the dustpan.
See, you walk around just as much as I do.
All right, so we got our first pieces up on the side over here. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the process is going to be. On the peaks here and over on that side, I want to do the sides first so I can wrap and have some overlap up top. And then the next strip will start out over there and run it up over top and down the wall. This guy is 50 feet long, so that should land us somewhere in this area. I got our little cutout done to avoid the poles in that section, but we're gonna go up and throw this up, or at least attempt to throw it up. I'm not quite sure if I can handle this by myself. We're gonna give it the old shot like we always do, but we may have to wait for some help. It just may be hard having a whole 50 feet to hold along the way and not have it pull the staples back out and create a mess. It's attacking me! It's getting quite a bit brighter over here. So I got the ceiling looped over and stapled into place. Now we got some vapor barrier tape so we can tape all the seams and get everything airtight. Then after that, we got some boards painted to match the trusses and poles. That'll keep the radiant barrier from eventually sagging and drooping, because right now it is just held in by staples. I'm guessing that may not hold up long term, so we're gonna sandwich it in there and make sure it never goes anywhere. We'll probably do that at the corners as well. But that can be done down the road because we can reach that with a ladder. I want to get everything that needs the lift done first so we can get that back to my buddy. Probably need the impact. Well, as it turns out, this is how far you can make it on a Harbor Freight staple gun. That is right, my favorite new tool gave up the ghost at 21,500 staples. I guess that's a fair amount. Good news is Harbor Freight's generous return policy got us a brand new replacement for free. Well, that's about par for the course for my infinite wisdom. Just what we need. More stuff in the way and more stuff to do. If I didn't create my own problems, I wouldn't have any. I had a friend have some car issues. Shocker, a BMW that doesn't function correctly. Unheard of. But no, we just had the tow truck drop it off here down at the bottom because it has been too cold for salt to work most of this week. And my driveway is kind of a slick mess, and I wasn't gonna put them in a precarious position. I figure we just yank this thing up the hill, or with my skill set, attempt to yank this thing up the hill. Y'all know how this is probably gonna go. Last video, we needed that tree because I couldn't even get the LR4 out of its own way. With all the weather in here, we're a tidbit filthy, and I'm kind of embarrassed. But neutral, we'll put it in low. Then I think we will do rock crawl. job. But, so now we got Ted's Jeep, and we're gonna winch it inside. Didn't quite make it.
I'll tell you, the Amazon winch is better than this one.
Like I've said before, everyone needs a Ted in their life. I guess it's a good thing we got the BMW in last night because we got more snow. So if you're not familiar with these guys, the 4-cylinder turbo BMWs, especially of the 2012, 2013 variety, share the same fate as the 5-liter LR4s. Yep, hate to break it to you, but Land Rover is not the only one that screws up timing chains. But this particular one quit running on a friend of mine, and it was towed to the BMW dealer, and they told him it needs an entire engine. We're gonna see if we can make that not a thing. But like all of these, it jumped timing, but it did not break the timing chain. Over the years with the repair shop, we've ran across a pile of these happening, and they can fail in two ways. They can jump timing, bend some valves, or they can actually break the timing chain, break the guides, and in turn break the oil pump chain, which if that happens, they're correct. It usually needs an engine. You're going down the highway, you break an oil pump chain, no oil pressure, does some bad things. This one, timing chain is still intact, oil pump chain still intact. Why they said it needs an engine? This. One of the cam caps has a little bit of scoring on it. Although obviously not ideal, the amount of scoring on this aluminum cam cap doesn't look like a massive amount of oil starvation to me. So right there is their reasoning behind wanting a $15,000+ repair on this guy. And unfortunately, the car's not even worth $15,000. I'm gonna tear it back apart, get a closer look myself, and I think by the looks of this, it just needs timing chains, possibly a couple valves. That involves pulling the cylinder head off, but not doing an entire engine. You know, the only thing that's weird to me is at the BMW dealer, they handed them this, which goes in the engine. But they also went ahead and reassembled the entire engine. So we're in the LR4 on the road again, and I bet you cannot guess where we're headed. Yep, you probably guessed it. My favorite store. Except we had to travel up into Wisconsin because we bought all the white radiant barrier that we had in town, and we ran out. I appreciate that. Awesome, thank you, have a good one. Man, they are on top of it at this store. They already had the stuff pulled out before I even got back there. Just to give you an idea of the amount of snow we've gotten here the last couple weeks. This is in the middle of the parking lot, and it is taller than the LR4. So of course, in Land Rover fashion, something went wrong. We just picked up a heavy surge and low power in the LR4. So we're gonna pull over and restart it. So we're running a little better now. Still has a little bit of a surge going on, so I suppose we'll have to have a future video figuring out what the heck is going on here. Well, that's not exactly great. There's a few codes in here. Well, that's interesting. So I got some mass airflow issue, misfires, random misfire, cat efficiency, evap leak. I knew that one. We've had that one for a bit. I gotta get a new smoke machine to play with that. But that has me curious because it almost feels like a voltage issue. We also had a couple timing codes, so that shouldn't be there. The chains are only 10,000 miles old. I'm wondering if that is where our issue's at. But what I'm gonna do is clear it out and drive it again, because that's obviously the fix for everything. But no, what I want to do is, it's got 11 codes in there. I want to narrow down and see what comes back if it messes up. Pretty much all those codes are historic, so I don't want to send us on a wild goose chase after something that isn't the actual issue. So we're just gonna go quick erase and just pretend nothing happened. So we're in the live data here, and this is kind of interesting. Look at the difference in the two mass airflows. So let's take a peek. With the two banks reading so much different, we probably either have a mass airflow issue or more likely a vacuum leak somewhere in the system. Peeking at it quickly, I don't see anything that pops out right away. There's a good chance I'm gonna have to finally order the smoke machine that I've been looking at. We sold ours when we had the auction at the commercial shop, and I've been missing it dearly for diagnosing issues like this. We'll dig into this a little bit later. Let's knock out the rest of the insulation in the shop and focus on one project at a time, which is not the norm for me, but we do need to get something accomplished. So what we're gonna do is pull off the intake and just take a look. Then we'll pull the mass airflows out. We're gonna clean both of these up. When we first got this, we were chasing a misfire as well, and we already swapped these from side to side, so you can see they're marked. And we're also gonna pull the filters and make sure nothing's blocked up in there. But if we don't find anything, after we clean these, we'll swap them from side to side once again. That way, if the issue jumps from one bank to the other, we know it's a bad mass airflow sensor. Kind of forgot what kind of filters this one had. So these right here are probably our issue. That logo there, in many cases, spells problems for vehicles with mass airflow sensors. So these have a couple little wires inside that are used to calculate how much air is going past them. And K&N filters are not your standard paper media. They are cleanable and rechargeable because they use oil to do the filtering. You can see these are pretty frickin' shooched. Normally they have a red hue to them. These are white, so the oil is all gone. These are mighty dirty. And what happens is these are behind the filter and the engine is sucking air, filter side through past this mass airflow, and it also sucks oil out of that filter element, which in turn can coat the sensor and throw readings off. So we'll get these cleaned up, we'll get these blown out, and ultimately order a set of Man or Hanks filters to replace these and get these out of the equation. So got these guys blown out, but like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and order a correct set, something that doesn't use oil, so I can't bugger up the sensors, but we'll get these in. All right, now what we're gonna do is swap. Should probably plug that one back in. Let's see what we accomplished. And we'll go in the live data. And would you look at that? We're now sitting pretty even. Before bank 1 was at like 10,000 and bank 2 was at 40,000. I'm almost positive it was the oil from the air filters that coated the sensors, messed them up. Little spray off, cleaned up, good to go. Ditch the K&Ns. Over the years working on this kind of stuff, have nothing but issues with K&Ns on mass airflow sensor cars. Over time, they end up transferring the oil onto the hot wire and messing the reading up. Let's go take this for a spin, make sure everything is kosher. And fingers crossed, you gotta love when a fix on a Land Rover is something as simple as that. We got the steelies, so I should probably get a gap tool and take care of that someday. Short little drive, and I think we have the issue solved. We'll drive it some more to make sure, but simple fix. Man, would you just look at that. You guys have no idea how much of an incredible feeling this is. This has been what some of you may agree with, an incredibly long process, but the feeling to have the shop that we have spent the last 18 months building to finally be looking like I had originally envisioned. Went into this with barely any construction experience. With the help of some family and friends, we were able to erect our 30 by 48 personal little shop here at the ranch so we can play with all these fun Land Rovers. There's a lot that's gone on in life in those last 18 months, and I've said it before, I'm not made of money. This took a little bit longer than planned because I did not want to take a loan out or anything, and I just wanted to cash flow the construction of the shop. But with that being said, I am so excited to have this in a place that is arguably, I can't even say it. Arguably, that's a word that's not coming out of my mouth right now. But you know what I'm trying to say. But this is the cleanest the shop has been, and very much the cleanest it has ever looked. So we're just kind of all over the place in this video today. I mean, it's a good thing, but random. I had one of these in mind, but it was going to be a couple months down the road once everything was sorted out in the shop. But this popped up, couldn't resist. As you guys know, I have a problem with buying things. So why not buy something else? And it's in a random building behind this gas station, which doesn't seem sketchy at all.
You're just jealous.
It is freaking foggy out. You can see. We'll just say you can see. Not far. That little guy's somewhat holding up. But I thought the gray tarps were supposed to be the good ones. According to Ike at the underpowered hour, top tarp tips. We had a failure.
Worst case scenario, you got a nice hand plasma table. I heard it's impressive. You filled like a half-inch gap to get down to.
I just don't think there should be as many wires as. You just let me know if you're okay. That is right, we got ourselves another CNC plasma. Just what we need. I mean, really, we do actually have a lot of uses for it. Those of you who have been following along for a while know that Ted and I had a 5x10 CNC plasma table that we sold when we downsized. That thing would have took up too much room. But in addition to that 5x10, prior to that, about 15 years ago, we purchased a 4x4 plasma cam. Outgrew that, got the 5x10, and time is a flat circle. And now we're back down to a 4x3. This will fit perfectly with the mini machine shop back here. We got our mini mill, mini lathe, mini brake, little laser, now little plasma. This was definitely one of those unexpected purchases. It is a Langmuir 4-foot by 3-foot. I was planning on purchasing one of these come spring, maybe early summer. Once everything's settled down in the shop, I was just gonna go buy a new one. But as someone like myself who is addicted to purchasing things does every night, I was scrolling Facebook Marketplace and I ran across an ad that had just popped up for this Langmuir CNC plasma. No pictures, just a factory photo, listed at just $1,500. It was 3.5 hours away from home, so I got a hold of the guy right quick and told him I could come in the morning. In the ad, he said it was dirty, needed a cleaning. I asked him for some pictures. He updated the ad after I already set up a time to go look at the thing. And as you can see from the pictures, he definitely wasn't lying about being dirty. But I mean, this guy fits in just like the rest of the projects at the Lost Cause. And we get a fun little refurb project. And we were able to pick up this guy for just $1,000. Including the plasma and the brains behind the unit. So in a future video, we'll have a CNC plasma restoration. Just what I always thought I'd do in life. But no, we'll get this guy blown apart and all refreshed. The nice thing about Langmuir's design is it is very serviceable. With everything being replaceable, we can get parts for it and we can fix it up nice. And we'll definitely do something different than this piece of conduit to hang the torch. But with that being said, today is a good day. Let me know what you guys think, but I am more than thrilled with how the shop looks. With the insulation in place, the exposed painted trusses with the white walls are exactly what I wanted when I originally designed this place. I got the insulation in place just in time for it to be 50 degrees next week. About par for the course in Joe timing. Get it done just for when you don't need it. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you subscribing, and we'll be back with tons more. We obviously have to refresh the CNC plasma. We have to sort out that 3 Series BMW. And then we get to dip our toes into the air-cooled world and sort this guy out, and it's on a starter stand. So I think we gotta fire this up in the shop.